And on the line with us is Congressman Mark Pocan, who is the first vice chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. You can tweet him at Rep. Mark Pocan. His website, Pocan, Pocan.house.gov. And let's see here, Cindy in Nogales, Arizona. Cindy, you are on the air with Congressman Pocan.
Hi, good morning, and thank you for taking my calls. I wanted to express something about this wall. They're always on the Mexican wall. As I live out in the country 2 miles from the border, they are always saying that this wall's going to protect us and all this idiot bullshit.
Ooh, Cindy, I'm sorry, you can't say that word on the air, so I've got to drop your call and flag you for the future. And my apologies. Did it make it through? Oh, good. We blocked it. We blocked it for our commercial stations. Anyhow, Congressman, your thoughts on the wall, on this idiot wall that Cindy was talking about?
I think that one word did the best job to define it that I've
Unfortunately, a lot of people didn't hear it because we got this obscenity delay. We could delete it. But yeah, or not unfortunately. But.
Well, you know, they've actually had people come into hearings with already plans of what it might look like and how. And I've just heard some of this week about the whole proposal. They're really moving forward on this, and this is going to be, hugely expensive at a time that, we're cutting back on Meals on Wheels and Pell Grants and the National Institute for Health. So, when it comes to appropriations, which I'm happy to serve on, we're going to do everything we can to fight any funds going towards it. But I know the Republicans are very unified around this issue.
Okay. Jeff in Moses Lake, Washington. Jeff, you're on the air with Congressman Pocan.
Hi, thanks for having me. I just had a statement and then a quick question. Nunez said incidental collection, quote, no illegalities, quote, unmasked names and nothing to do with Russia, quotes. So from what I understand of why names get unmasked, you can only conclude that there's another whole investigation into Trump and his transition team that has nothing to do with Russia. And has anybody asked Nunez if his name was unmasked?
If his name, because he was part of the transition team. Congressman?
Yeah, I haven't heard that second part on it. But, everything about this story is just bizarre, right? I mean, generally, the intelligence community, up until, of course, the age of Trump, has been pretty nonpartisan. They try to, really make a habit of working together. And that's why when he started, operating like he did and exchanging information without sharing it with the committee, he really lost that committee's ability to do a fair investigation of this. But now we're into, like National Enquirer land, right? I mean, this is where, he's getting information on the grounds of the White House, but not from, he's not going to tell us who from. And the next day he went and presented it to the White House. I mean, he was already on the grounds. I mean, none of it makes sense. It's this whole bizarre story. And he keeps digging that hole deeper and deeper and deeper. And, he really has to recuse himself from anything. And this is one more reason why that independent commission has to occur to get to the bottom of all this stuff. But I got the feeling that the way this guy's been behaving the last couple of weeks, there's a lot more of Devin Nunez for all of us.
Yeah, I'm guessing you're right. Becky in Valparaiso, Indiana, if I'm saying the town right, Becky?
Yes, you are. That's right. Hi. Yes, I just wanted to ask Congressman Pocan. I'm enjoying the dysfunction of the Republicans and Donald Trump, and if we were so lucky as to get him impeached, that would be great. However, how do you think we would fare much better under Mike Pence?
I'll tell you, I don't think that's a decision we necessarily have to make. I mean, if we have a president who's done something wrong that's impeachable, we have to impeach him. I don't care if it's a Democrat or a Republican. That's what we have to do for our country. And if that means Mike Pence comes in, he's certainly very, very conservative, especially on social issues. And as a openly gay person here in Congress, there probably wasn't a more anti-equality governor in the country than Mike Pence. There's a lot of reasons to have concern. But if a president has done something impeachable, we absolutely have to impeach that president. And if this president had collusion with the Russians during the campaign and they interfered with our elections, certainly that would fall, I think, under every definition of what's impeachable. That's why we got to get to the bottom of this. And if he's being unfairly characterized by that, then the independent commission will come out and say that. But we need to have that step to make sure we know what's happening. So I don't think it's as simple as saying, gee, I'd rather not have Mike Pence either. If it may be that many people within the Trump administration knew what was going on. That's why we needed an independent commission to figure it out.
Right. Jeff in Grants Pass, Oregon. You're on the air with Congressman Pocan.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thanks for taking the call. My point is, you've been talking about these evil, bills that the Republicans passed in the Senate, and it was on party lines, but why didn't the Democrats resist and filibuster these bills?
Like the telecom thing. That was 50 to 48.
Yeah, Jeff, I can't tell you on the Senate, being in the House, why on that issue they didn't go there. I know that part of it is they're trying to deal with this whole issue around Gorsuch and trying to build support to make sure that they can try to hold a filibuster. And I don't know if they have all their members on board with that right now. But we fought hard in the House, and I think as you look at a lot of issues moving forward, we're trying to make sure that not only are we fighting the bad things that are getting introduced, but also we're proposing positive alternatives, because I think we have to make a case to the American people why this current group of people in charge aren't doing them any favors. So, in a couple weeks, I think it might be right after we get back from the April break, the Progressive Caucus will release our version of a budget. And I think that's something that, again, that's that really positive statement of our values. A budget is where you put your money is really what you believe, not all the rhetoric that happens in the Beltway of Washington. And, we're going to have a $2 trillion infrastructure package. We move towards states having single payer plans. We cut dollars that go to defense and increase money that goes to programs that help real people. We make college more affordable. Go down the list. I think those are the balance that we have. So I can't speak specifically to a Senate action or inaction, but I can tell you in general where progressives are at here in Congress. We're going to fight like heck where we have to fight, but we're also going to propose positive alternatives because I think that's absolutely essential.
And you can't say hell on the air. You can't say that other word that what's her name said. McWayne in Chino Valley, Arizona. You're on the air with Congressman Pocan.
Yes, Congressman. I was wondering if you knew how Nunez voted on yesterday's privacy bill. He seemed so disillusioned with the alleged inadvertent collection of T-Rumps data, but was he willing to sell our data for the profit of his donors?
Yeah, he voted for it, I believe, as the vast majority of Republicans. I think there might have been a couple that voted against it, but he did vote for it. But you're right. I mean, they've tried to take this entire debate away from who might have interfered in our elections and who knew about it and might have been complicit during that actions to, hey, someone's leaking information in the White House. We have to go after those who are leaking it, which I think, is a really interesting conversation. It's, if you're 5 years old and, you steal a cookie out of the cookie jar, instead of finding out, if you stole a cookie, you want to find out who leaked the information. It's a really interesting response they have rather than dealing with the big issue. So, no, I think they were hypocrites yesterday, and yet they'll go back on it when they need to conveniently to use that as an excuse.
Congressman, just an FYI, there's a GoFundMe page now, gofundme.com/BuyCongressData. And they say, Congress recently voted to strip Americans of their privacy rights, SJR 34, blah, blah, blah. And they say this GoFundMe page will pay to purchase the data of every congressperson who voted for SJR 34 and make it publicly available. No, we won't dox people. We won't share public information that will impact the safety and security of their families, such as personal addresses. However, all other details are fair game. It says so right in the resolution that they voted to approve. Game on, Congress. And they've already raised, this site has been up for 21 hours, and they've raised $16,900.
That's great.
It's hysterical.
I want to know if Devin Nunez has a subscription to the National Enquirer.
There you go. Or if somebody at the White House does, and they just kind of met him on the lawn and handed it to him. Scott,
they do. They do.
Yeah, there you go. Scott in Canaan, Maine. Hey, Scott, you're on the air with Congressman Pocan.
Hey, Tom. I just had a question, the same one I asked last time. I talked to you a couple weeks ago. You can't give these people a chance to catch their breath because they'll be back with the same bill under a different name. Why, again, isn't somebody, where's Bernie? Why isn't he out screaming on TV or on the floor for single payer or Medicare for all? everybody's already paying for it. It's an existing program. Why hasn't there been a bill put in front of it so the American people can at least see that something like that is being done, and let us have the choice, run it side by side?
Thank you, Scott.
Obamacare got sabotaged because he gave it to the insurance companies to implement.
Scott, actually, there is legislation. Congressman?
Yeah, so Scott, but you bring up a good point, is that if the mainstream media aren't covering it, you're not finding out about it in Maine. And that's part of the problem we're facing. So there is a bill introduced that Bernie Sanders has. Bernie's fighting like hell, I can say, now the show, as are the members of the Progressive Caucus and people like Elizabeth Warren and Tammy Baldwin and Al Franken and many others. So, that is part of the alternatives that we're trying to put out there. But also understand that with this Congress and president, those bills aren't going to pass, but we're putting them out there to show the public that there is a better alternative than what they're recommending, that they're recommending you lose your health care, which is ridiculous. That's why we're able to put that out there and continue to build the support for it. So it is happening, but part of the problem with the mainstream media, they're not covering it.
We're talking with Congressman Mark Pocan. He's taking your calls for the hour. We'll be back with more of your calls for Congressman Pocan in just a moment. You can reach him at, his website is pocan.house.gov. You can tweet him at Rep, R-E-P, as in representative, Rep Mark, M-A-R-K, Pocan, P-O-C-A-N. We'll be right back.